And Tuscaloosa cheese, you've got it.
Good morning, everyone. Thank
Morning,
you
Lisa.
for inviting me here today. It is always an honor to present information about the Sister Cities International Organization to all of you. After listening to everyone this morning, I was mentioning to Matt Feller, who is here with the Chamber this morning, but also serves on the Sister Cities Board of Directors, that there are so many great organizations in the city, and Sister Cities is proud to be what I call a point of light in the city of Tuscaloosa. We have been around for almost 40 years, 37 years. Wow. We have been funded by the city of Tuscaloosa all these years, first starting with Narashino, Japan in 1986, 10 years later, Schorndorf, Germany in 1996, and 12 years ago, Sunyani Techiman, Ghana. I'll show you some photos of what we do and why we exist. So Sister Cities International, of which Tuscaloosa Sister Cities as a member, was established in 1956 under President Dwight Eisenhower. The goal of Sister Cities International is to create global peace and prosperity through citizen diplomacy. A very simple idea, but a very profound one and an important one. The Tuscaloosa Sister Cities mission is to promote long-term global relationships through the development of international leadership, friendship, and understanding. TSCI provides outreach opportunities for students and community delegates to develop friendly and mutually beneficial relationships globally. Of course, Narashino, Japan was our first official Sister City partnership established in 1986. It's located near Tokyo Bay in northwest Chiba Prefecture, home to several institutions of higher learning and the Yatsu Rose Garden, regular student community delegation opportunities. And we're working on one for next summer to Narashino for students to go, our students to go in June, the Narashino students to come here in July of next year. Schorndorf, Germany, our partnership established in 1996. The gifts today are from Ghana. A recent delegation visit there. The gift from Schorndorf would have been a Mercedes-Benz, but my budget won't allow that, sorry.
I knew we missed something.
Darn. Schorndorf is the birthplace of automotive pioneer Gottlieb Daimler, and regular exchanges for students and community delegates take place. Just got back last week from Schorndorf with a delegation of 18. Fabulous experience. I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. And Sunyani Techiman, Ghana, West Africa. The partnership was established in 2011, and that was during the 25th anniversary of our program. And because we have such an impact for students and education and outreach, we thought, where in the world could we go that would have a connection to Tuscaloosa, both historically and culturally? And Africa was the decision. We have not been at all disappointed in this relationship. It has been an awesome, awesome relationship. And Councilor Wilson also went to Ghana with me in May with our delegation.
And they still want to be a partner?
They still.
We got the falls.
Oh yeah, what an experience.
That's good.
Oh, yeah.
Our Connect Globally project is a project that was established by Tuscaloosa and Sunyani Techiman. We collaborated with community sponsors, including Rotary, Kiwanis, et cetera, to aid in the installation of computers and labs in Sunyani and Techiman because education is a key component of our program. In September of 2023, in a couple of months, there will be 18 representatives from Sunyani and Techiman, the mayors, the regional ministers, and other education representatives coming to Tuscaloosa to take part in a University of Alabama Community Development Symposium. Mayor Maddox has been kind enough to schedule a program, a welcome reception with the council and city officials for this group. So I'll keep you posted on those plans as they develop, but they're actively getting their visas now. Visa issues for them coming here have been a problem because the embassy is not willing to give visas so openly these days. But because this is an educational symposium, we're very confident that all of them will be able to get their visas this time. Student exchanges, one of the highlights of the Sister Cities program. The students who attend Tuscaloosa City Schools, and it is a specific partnership with city school students, are able to participate in exchanges with our sister cities life-changing opportunities for all, and students would visit Narashino, Schorndorf, or Sunyani Techiman. Students in the Narashino and Schorndorf exchanges live with host families and have the opportunity to attend school with their host partners. Same in Ghana, although we normally have not stayed with host families there, but we do a lot of activities in the community. We have community exchanges open to the entire community. These are mostly adult delegates. We welcome members of the community to take part in international exchanges. Again, we had a community student delegation visit Ghana in May. We had a community delegation visit Schorndorf to celebrate our 27th anniversary, which we celebrated because of COVID restrictions a couple of years before. That was in December. And so these are ongoing. Delegations from Narashino, Schorndorf, and Sunyani Techiman visit Tuscaloosa on a regular basis. Our 23 anniversary celebrations, again, 37 years Narashino, 27 years Schorndorf, Sunyani Techiman, Ghana, 12 years. The programs that we participate in are varied and far-reaching. We are a co-sponsor of the Tuscaloosa West Alabama Multicultural Alliance, the WAMA Fest Cultural Festival. We're a sponsor of the Sakura Festival that happens at the downtown in Tuscaloosa every spring. We also are a co-sponsor of the Africana Film Festival that takes place annually also. These are some of the pictures from the Sakura Festival. Africana Film Festival will be taking place in August, so we're working on that with the organizers now. We like to say that for our sister cities, the world of opportunity awaits. We do annual student and community exchanges, many types of global outreach, collaborative programming. We're recognized members of Sister Cities International. I'm actually a board member on Sister Cities International. I'm the state rep for Alabama. Been doing this a long time, 21 years this year. What we're hoping to do in the coming months is to introduce a classroom in a suitcase educational project in the city schools, meaning we would have Japan in a suitcase, Schorndorf or Germany in a suitcase, and Ghana in a suitcase, whereby we educate the young people in the community about who our partners are internationally, expose them to cultures that they're not used to, give them some words and examples of how they can communicate with each other in those languages, and then they can take that on and learn a little bit more about the world and how they relate to it here in Tuscaloosa. One of the things that we mentioned in our application is that we are very unique to what we offer in the city of Tuscaloosa. There's no other organization, no other agency in town that offers what we do for the students and the adults in Tuscaloosa. So we believe that we offer a very special outreach opportunity for all of these, the people who want to learn more about the world and don't know it, and they actively can participate in our exchanges, both as a delegate in one of our sister cities or on the reciprocal side when we have international delegations come to Tuscaloosa and want to learn more about our culture.
Ladies, questions, comments?
Just a comment. She keeps these things going. I don't know how she juggles all of that, but thank you.
Thank you. We're a staff of one with a really great board. So, Kip, thanks to you.
I love it.
And the support of so many terrific people in the community who really believe in the mission. I wanted to read to you one really quick. We just came back from Schorndorf last week, and I asked the students to send me their reflections, because the reflections of what they experienced over there will go into the yearbook for the Max Planck Gymnasium yearbook. And by the way, the students' reciprocal visit, the German students will be coming here in October, and the Max Planck Gymnasium, our partner school, big band, will be performing at Kentuck in October. So we'll have about 50, 60 students coming here to celebrate football season and Kentuck and live with host families while they're here. But anyway, one of the students who went was a student from Central High School. had not participated in a Sister City program before. And his comments were, the legendary experience in Schorndorf, Stuttgart, and other places we visited in Germany with a group of U.S. and German exchange students was nothing short of extraordinary. Our 10-day adventure was a beautiful blend of cultural immersion, friendship, and unforgettable moments. From the moment we were greeted with warm welcomes, it felt like we were all one big international family. Together, we explored the historic streets of Schorndorf, discovering hidden gems and indulging in local delicacies that tantalized our taste buds. In Stuttgart, we marveled at stunning architecture and soaked in the rich history of the region. I hope that's not me, that's okay. Our interactions with the locals and fellow exchange students provided valuable insights into their way of life and traditions, fostering lasting friendships and understanding. Each day brought a new and exciting experience, be it hiking through picturesque landscapes, visiting majestic castles, or enjoying lively festivals. As we bid farewell, we were filled with gratitude for the memories we had created and the bonds that we had formed across borders and cultures. The legendary adventure will forever hold a special place in our hearts, reminding us of the magic that comes from embracing diversity and exploring the world together. So this is a 17-year-old who wrote this after his experiences in Schorndorf, even after 10 days. And so what Sister Cities provides is an opportunity for this student and other students like him to for a very, very limited cost, which is that Sister Cities is able to offset the cost and subsidize a great part of the cost of travel for these individuals, to go there to represent as an ambassador for the city of Tuscaloosa in the state of Alabama and the United States, and then to come back and to share our culture with them. So it's a life-changing opportunity for them.
Go ahead, Mr. Wilson.
Let me say, just like she wrote commentary, I was looking back over my notes that I had written. I wrote every day that I was in Sunyani and in Ghana. One of them, as I look back, and I'm gonna give some commentary and then give a question. And I wrote, my heart bleeds because I never dreamed or thought that I would experience such a trip in my life. After being encouraged by the counselors and different friends in my life, I asked myself, am I worthy? Am I good enough? But it is because I have lived for so long in different shadows of a community, talked to as a colleague, but only experienced condensation because of my youth. Oh boy, I'm experiencing greater and upgrade and favor. And I'm saying this to hopefully encourage someone. Give yourself a passport from opinion, a passport from people, a passport to explore the world. And I said that to say that what Sister Cities does is not only give an experience, but a life-changing opportunity for those who would take it. And this presentation is just a snippet of what I know for me that I've experienced going to Ghana, experiencing the different food. I would not eat American food while I was in Ghana. I ate everything tailored to the culture. It was educational, it was informative, and I support this. I want to champion this. I want to see what we can do to make it better, to encourage more students to go and to be a part of what is happening. I hope that you all view my commentary as I sent pictures. I had so many people asking, what can we do to go on this trip? Because we want to go there, not just from Tuscaloosa, but from other parts of our state. So Lisa, you are a champion for international opportunities and opportunities for educational enhancement and engagement. And we talk to those municipalities, those government officials about their needs. We work with them. We were able to hear them and listen to the tribal governments of how what we do over here can be so beneficial to what they need over there. So I just want to thank you and champion that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wilson. Any other comments or questions?
Ms. Keys, I just want to say thank you too, because I've had a chance to travel with you to Ghana, and hopefully I get to experience the other two sister cities soon and make those connections. Yeah, or I can go back to Ghana either way. But I just want to say thank you, because for our city school system, and it's the county.
No,
It's just
we're
the
funded
city?
by the
Okay.
city, so there,
Yeah,
the partnership is with the city schools.
Good answer.
So I just, good answer, yeah, very good answer. So I just want to say that exposure is so important, and you know, to be able to allow our students to have that opportunity to travel abroad, it really does something to them. And I appreciate what you do in organizing it and making it simple. It seemed like such a simple process. You know, meeting with you, you know, as we get closer and closer to the trip, and the way you build up that excitement and making sure that we're all ready and prepared. I mean, like, you do such a great job. To be a company of one, you know, a staff of one, you do an amazing job of keeping it all together, and I really appreciate that. And just to see our students come back, I can't even explain it. That exposure just does something to them as a student and as an individual in our community. And it's not just about those relationships over here, but just about them as individuals. That is a great experience for us to have here in the city.
I think just that exposure, it's correct, you know, and to see it through the eyes of someone else who may not have ever had the opportunity to go and to travel and to experience this and to bring that home. And for many of them, I mean, it's so life-changing that they choose to go into something in international relations or something that really affects their lives on a global perspective. So, and this is something that I think that Tuscaloosa, you know, it puts Tuscaloosa on the map globally for people that it's not a business thing, it is a person to person, it's citizen diplomacy working in action every day.
All right. Thank you very much. Any other? Very good presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
T-SNP. Tuscaloosa Spay Neuter Incentive Program, T-SNP.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm Heather McLeod. I'm on the board of directors of the Tuscaloosa Spay Neuter Incentive Program. I'm here with my board chair, Beth Bobo, our program coordinator, Brittany Hood, and Jeff Parker, who's going to be a whole lot more fun than I am probably in about 4 minutes if I can get through everything. So what is T-SNP? We're a 501c3 nonprofit that our mission is to reduce the unowned or unwanted population of pets in Tuscaloosa City, City of Northport, Tuscaloosa County. And we do that primarily through trap, neuter, return, and then education and outreach. What is trap, neuter, return? It is the process of trapping feral cats, having them spayed or neutered, and then returning them back to the colony where they were trapped, or the location where they were trapped. T-SNP goes one step further than that. We do give them rabies vaccinations, and then we also tip their left ear so that if we encounter them again, because in order to trap you have to feed, and cats really like food. And so if we encounter them again, we will simply release them or not try to trap them again because we know that we've already served that cat. How does it work? Brittany is sort of our clearinghouse for all things feral cat. And so she will get an outreach more often than not from a citizen reporting either a colony of cats or sometimes it's a mom with kittens, usually a citizen or business owner. She will try to get an estimate of the number of cats that they want to try to get fixed. She will arrange veterinary surgery appointments. We work with, I think, 11 or 12 vet clinics, as well as Alabama Spay Neuter in Ironwood. She will coordinate those appointments. The cats get trapped. They get taken to the vet. After surgery, vaccination, and recovery, they are then returned and released, hopefully at their original location. That is always the goal. For two reasons. One, if you remove feral cats from an area and don't put them back, new feral cats move in. And those aren't fixed. And so then it's that continued population explosion because cats are extremely prolific. They also provide a service in terms of pest control. I have a cat who's a former stray who refuses to stay inside, and I can account firsthand for how good cat hunters' cats are. He brought me a live rat last week. If anybody wants a cat, you let me know. Benefits of trap neuter release. It reduces feral cat reproduction, says Captain Obvious. That stabilizes feral cat populations. If we can get pretty much all of the cats in a colony fixed, they simply stop producing kittens, and over time, that colony will decrease. It also creates a healthier cat colony, and people say, well, why do we need healthier feral cats? Well, rabies is a really good example. We also have a good amount of stray cats in Tuscaloosa, and Jeff is going to speak to that to some degree. But stray cats are adoptable. If they get trapped, we can turn them over to Metro. If they are exposed to fewer diseases, like if adoptable cats on the street are exposed to fewer diseases from feral cats, those cats remain more adoptable. So it really is a cat public health sort of issue. My personal favorite impact of TNR is that it greatly reduces euthanasia rates. The single greatest cause of dog and cat euthanasia in the US is simply overpopulation. We are not spaying and neutering enough. There are simply too many dogs and cats born than can be cared for and adopted. In 2014, when TSNP was just starting, Metro was euthanizing almost 2,000 cats and kittens a year. At the end of 2022, they had euthanized less than 120. And so the spay-neuter really does make a difference. There is some increased efficiency for animal control. They have a great relationship with Brittany and she with them. And so if they get information about new colonies, they will forward it on to her. If they get calls about trapping feral cats, they will pass that information on to her. We also support Metro, much as they support us. We have the privilege of, if we trap what appears to be or could be a friendly cat, we have the privilege of being able to work with them. They will assess that cat for adoption. Similarly, if they receive a feral cat, either through animal control or a citizen, it is TSNP that arranges the spay-neuter and covers the cost of that. Generally speaking, Metro Shelter does not serve feral animals. Simply within the city of Tuscaloosa. So we serve all of Tuscaloosa County. We don't actively trap in the outlying counties, but we will loan traps to people. So if we get a call from somebody who works in Tuscaloosa but lives in Pickens County and there's a feral cat on their property, we'll loan them a trap. Hopefully they'll bring back the trap. 44% of all of the feral cats that TSNP trapped in 2022, which is the last full year we have, obviously, 44% of all the cats we trapped were from Tuscaloosa city limits. The cost to care for those, trap those, surgery costs, almost $26,000. The last 2 years, the amount of funding that we've received from City of Tuscaloosa is 50 and 5. So we're spending about 2/3 more on City of Tuscaloosa trapped cats than we are receiving from City of Tuscaloosa. That is why we're requesting $31,000 this coming year. We don't only rely on city funding from City of Tuscaloosa, City of Northport, and county. We do get a good bit of community donations. We are often a sponsor. So last year we were a recipient of funds from the Sleepy Kraken Runyak, if that's not an event name. And then 2 years ago we started holding our own fundraiser. The Tee Off for TSNP fundraiser will be March 20th at North River. And we are hoping going forward to be able to use those funds for helping more families and owners on owned cats with spay-neuter. There are about 16,000 cats we estimate within the city of Tuscaloosa. We estimate about 1/3 of them aren't fixed. If 1,000 unspayed female cats has 2 litters per year, 5 kittens per litter, 10,000 kittens in a year. It's a lot of kittens. It's a lot of kittens. And so our goal ultimately is to be able to use our government funding for the feral cat services, but then try to divert our fundraising effort funds to assist with spay-neuter for owned pets, because as long as there are owned cats who have access to the outside, there are gonna be feral kittens. It's just how it works.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. I'm only more fun because I come with stickers. We'll get to those in a minute. And just to put a punctuation mark on something that Heather said, if you keep letting those 10,000 cats go, for about 3.5 years, you'll have more feral cats in Tuscaloosa than you have citizens, than you have residents, okay? They don't always make it, but it's an astronomical and exponentially growing kind of problem. My name is Dr. Jeff Parker. I'm a professor at the university in my day job, and I am a developmental psychologist who studies how youth understand and conceptualize and grow through community engagement. That's what I do from the scientifically. And I am also on the board of TSNP and run their outreach programs. I run their outreach programs for the group in partnership with a class that I teach at the university. We'll get to in a second. The problem of education, and TSNP takes very seriously both ends of this problem. They're, as you heard from Heather, they're really actively involved in the trapping, spay, neuter, and releasing of cats, and they've made a huge difference over at Metro, and a huge difference in terms of euthanasia rates, but also in terms of presence in the community. In some ways, we have an education problem that goes along with that. We have to change community attitudes about feral cats so that cats are not tortured and cats are not mistreated, and we also need to partner with the community writ large in terms of this process, because a lot of times what we do requires community cooperation and individuals who know where cats are and that kind of stuff. My particular interest in youth means that what I do for TSNP is get city and county, middle schools and high schools involved in projects across the thing. Where the education arm of Tuscaloosa is a little bit challenging because we're a little like Sherlock's Hound of the Baskerville. It's the cat that didn't howl in the night that's important. It's the things you don't see that matter. When we're successful, you no longer have problems, and you have what we like to call our underground city. You have a group of citizens in the city, a group of residents in the city that are animal residents that are well behaved and bring things to the community. So my job is to put a face to that, put a voice to that, and to get youth involved in ways that change the youth. So we do some things. We'll talk about these in a minute. Some live at the Plaza events and some Facebook and fundraising things. This is what we do. The little diagram there shows the many things we do as on the education side of things. Both what we call outreach and education, that's producing things and going in a community, I'll talk about in a minute. We do lots of, but we're also there to train youth. We're also there to get involved, to start growing in the community people who can advocate for cats, and people who understand the problem, and people who be sympathetic to the enterprise that goes into catching and trapping and spaying and neutering and returning these things. It's done in partnership with a class that I teach at the university every year. I've been with TSNP since its foundation, and every year I teach a class at the university that involves a new batch of undergraduates, somewhere between 20 and 30, who go out and work with various high schools, and we worked over the years with various, most recently with Central, and last year a lot with Tuscaloosa Academy. But we work with different, all around the city in different schools. So here's what we do. First, we train what we call feral TNR ambassadors. They are the people that populate and staff the various programs we do. The programs we do change every year because the students themselves select what they want to work on, and they have ownership over it. So they pick what goals they're going to do, whether it's a community event that involves so we've painted the sides of buildings, we've done art projects, we hosted a whole day-long event at the Children's Hands-On Museum, we do canvassing, we do booths at various things, and as you'll see, so we've done a lot of digital and educational things. So these ambassadors are taught on how to speak on behalf of cats, but also they develop their professional and service skills. We teach them leadership skills. We do presentations with them. We teach them how to put a PowerPoint together, how to go out and advocate for something. And on occasions, we've come to various groups like this, and the kids themselves speak. And those ambassadors, recently last year, for example, we put them in classrooms on the university campus. They went to halls. I mean, think about yourself doing it. They went to big halls of university students, of 300 students in an auditorium, and they stood in the front and gave little presentations to the college students about being more responsible pet owners. But they also go out to community organizations and community businesses and so forth. Back up. Going the wrong way here. Okay.
And Dr. Parker, we do need to be bringing it.
Huh?
Yeah, probably need to go and
Get close.
get to the video if you can.
Yeah, okay. Let me go backwards here a second.
There's a 3-minute video that when I met
Yeah, we'll
with
get to
Beth
that.
and them earlier,
Go ahead.
I think it's important that it's
What if everything you knew was taken away? We'll do that. Yeah, go backwards. We're missing half of this stuff here. Go back, one more. Pass this. Pass that. There we go. Keep going backwards.
Again?
Yeah, keep going. All right. I want to talk about the table tents. Go one more back. Sorry. Okay. For example, an example of what we did is something we call table tents, which is still ongoing. We had area middle school students and scouting groups go around to various businesses downtown. We had 30 businesses sign up to put one of those little plastic table tents you find on your restaurant, in your restaurant, in your businesses on the tables. Kids designed the things. You can see the kids holding them in little plastic samples there. And we had 30 businesses that will, in the fall, will have little placards on the table for about a week. And we also have, in the fall, we'll be going to realty agencies that manage large apartment complexes. And as individuals sign up for leasing over in August, or individuals assume their apartments in August and September, they will get a brochure or a table tent will be in the leasing office as people come in that address the issue of abandoning cats and the issue of trap, neuter, spay, and responsible pet ownership. Next, here, let's see if I can do it. Yeah. Cat yoga was a huge hit. Students suggested this. I was skeptical. I thought the cats will shred these people. But in fact, it turned out to be a huge hit. We partnered, in this case, with the Humane Society of West Alabama to run cat yoga. You can see it here, sessions, and they were massively popular. In fact, we couldn't accommodate all the people who signed up. And they paid a nominal fee to come in and do yoga with cats, and you can see that they were inundated with them. And this is now going to, it looks like Metro is going to start doing this as well. Next, we do a lot of community tabling, both at Live at the Plaza, and there's one of the things we did at Metro. We go down to the River Market, we go to various locations, cafeterias and schools, and that kind of stuff over the time. We produce educational videos and books. I'll talk about this, then we'll see the video. Last year, we partnered with Tuscaloosa Academy, and students wrote us a children's story, a children's book narrative. You can see the dialogue that's going to be produced on the thing in the voice of two cats. It's basically two ships passing in the night kind of theme. It's a feral cat and a domestic cat who completely misunderstand each other and have to confront their assumptions about one another. It's written in the voice and the cadence of a children's book, a little bit of Dr. Seuss metaphor to it, and it's entirely going to be illustrated by children in the area. And then we're going to mass produce this book and make it available. We could have had a professional artist illustrate this book. We could have had a single unitary artist to do the artwork for it so that it had some continuity, but we wanted it to be a patchwork, a quilt of different work by different kids. So we often do a lot of art things. And then every year we produce almost every year we produce various videos, digital materials. And the digital materials, we probably have 6 or 7 of these. I showed this next film to a group. A few of you have seen this next film, and then I was asked to make sure I show it today. So I brought this other film. This film, although I'm the narrator because they didn't have anybody else, but this was written, produced, filmed, and edited by high school youth. So now we can do the video. So start it now. What if everything you knew was taken away? Each year, several thousand cats in Tuscaloosa area find out. Once sheltered in a home with perhaps a loving owner, abandoned cats are often left without what they need to survive, including food, water, shelter, and medical care. They may also experience fear and confusion and loneliness due to the sudden loss of their home and human companions. Unlike cats born feral and street smart, once domesticated cats are asked suddenly to fend for themselves by scavenging for food or seeking out shelter.
Along with the emotional trauma of being left behind and the uncertainty of their future, cats that are dumped on the street may succumb to starvation or exposure to the elements and risk dehydration and disease. Sometimes owners dump their cats, assuming that someone else will feel sorry and take them in. It happens, but that is mostly a pleasant illusion people tell themselves. Studies show that very few abandoned cats are later taken in by loving others. The lucky ones may survive on the fringe with someone who leaves food for them. Lacking street smarts, others are hit by cars and risk attack by animals. Naive and trusting, they may approach people, but be taken in by individuals who may not provide them with proper care, or worse, torture them or use them for bait for other animals. In Tuscaloosa, the single biggest reason cats are abandoned is because they're owned by a university student. Missing their pets at home, lonely, eager to make an apartment feel like a home, hoping to impress their friends. Well-intentioned college students often adopt pets, but these adoptions have expiration dates. They expire when the term ends, when a roommate proves allergic, when a parent objects, when a new lease no longer allows them, or when they graduate and start a new job. Hoping for the best result, university students dump their pets in neighborhoods that look pet-friendly or drop their pets at the animal shelter. The animal shelter is a poor lifesaver. Cats could stay weeks or months at the shelter, and for about 1 out of every 10 cats that end up there, it's a one-way trip to euthanasia, several hundred a year.
He's on his way to my house.
So the Leave Memories Not Your Pets, as you can tell, a lot of our focuses on the university. University students dump pets, and they're the biggest contributor, as mentioned in the video, the biggest contributor to the problem. So much of our efforts focus over there. We have full days over there called Leave Memories Not Your Pets. We have advocacy in the Starbucks over there. We do this stuff all the time. And then finally, I don't know what happened to our last slide, but I come with stickers. Every year we produce, we have social media presence and we have various websites that do stuff. And then every year my students produce laptop sticks. Now, if you really want to be seen as cool by middle school, high school, and college students, you need a laptop sticker. Okay, that's what you do. So help yourself to these laptop stickers.
Thank you, Dr. Parker.
They're all designed by these things, by high school kids.
Okay. Are there any other questions or comments from either the committee members or the council members in general?
Because I read this,
Yes.
Jean with,
West Food Bank's here.
Okay, we'll finish the order that we're in right now.
all right.
Next on the agenda is Chamber of Commerce. Mr. South, welcome.
Thank you, sir. Guys, this is the first time that I've been on this side of this budgeting process equation, so bear with me if you will.
Are you bona fide now?
I'm not sure about that.
You know,
So, I
are
do
you official?
understand the issues and hurdles that you guys face in these processes, though. First of all, I want to thank you for the opportunity to present to you this morning and show the value that we are providing to the city as well as your constituencies. I've been on the job a little less than a month, and from day one I understood that our contract of service would likely shift to an agency funding model. Knowing that our friends at TCEDA and Visit Tuscaloosa go through this same process, I welcome the transition. But also within that change was a shift in focus, one that would highlight our efforts in workforce development, maintain our commitments to community development, and provide support to the wider economic development efforts within the city. We come to you today asking for a slight increase from $175,000 to $200,000, and over the last 12 years, the city's investment has remained consistent while costs have been on the rise and while our value and partnership has broadened. Our total combined budgets between the Chamber and West Alabama Works is $3.4 million. And some of the value that the chamber often provides are hard to quantify, whereas those workforce programs are easier to point to participation and outcomes. So with that, we've got a PowerPoint presentation that I will kind of run through fairly quickly, obviously leaving time at the end for questions. But I also want to leave plenty of time for my partner in crime, Donnie Jones, to discuss the workforce initiatives and programs. And most of you know Donnie and know that he probably takes more time than most to get through his portion of the presentation.
That's why we're gonna stay on 15
Shorter is better.
We're bringing in lunch.
All right, so this is our professional staff. We have in total that work on the contract and have parts in the contract with the city. There are 15 employees, but this lists out our entire team. Our executive committee, Matt Feller's here today. We appreciate you being here with us. An expansive board of community leaders. So on the workforce side of things, we cover 9 counties that stretch from Lamar County all the way down to Marengo County. I'm sure Donnie will have some comments on that and how we are drawing off of that region here in Tuscaloosa. The chamber reach, these are some of the things that we can quantify easily. Over 1,200 members, approaching 1,300. Representing 65,000 plus employees. 71% of those members are right here within the city limits of Tuscaloosa. And the chamber hosts over 50 events each year. Some of the councils that fall under the umbrella of the Chamber of Commerce, the Commercial Realtors Roundtable, the Diverse Business Council, which we've had ongoing conversation with your program in partnership with Tuscaloosa Builds, the Mayor's Business Advisory Council, the Nonprofit Council with Young Tuscaloosa, our Public Affairs Council, and Women's Leadership Alliance. Also throughout the year, the Chamber hosts several events that are community related. Upcoming is the State of the Community, where we anticipate right at 400 of our local citizens engaging in conversations about how, kind of the events and things that you guys are facing on a daily basis, but also the education summit that will be coming up in September to discuss education issues throughout the community, and then the State of the State event that our state elected officials have often participated in. Benchmarking trips, we just got back from Raleigh. We appreciate the mayor being engaged and participating in that trip, but you can see the other places that we've been over the last 6 years to help kind of facilitate new conversations that we can bring back to our city here and hopefully put to application. Results in the past from past benchmarking trips, public art, something we focused on. Budgeting, what are things that other cities of size and scale are doing that we can bring back here? Workforce and community development centers. Obviously, the chamber office has transformed into a workforce and community development center that we're trying to bring citizens into to provide service to. Riverfront and downtown development. I think a lot of support from the chamber in that aspect. And then finally, our strategic plan that laid out our 5-year vision of where we see ourselves fitting into all that is going on to strengthen our community. Our partnership with the EDGE is another thing that we like to focus on, and how we can support that effort and create opportunities for innovation. And then Celebrate Local this year, we had over 50 businesses, right at 800 people that made their way through those, focusing on buying local. And then also don't make me say that, Shop Local Challenge that we've had around Christmas time each year to help generate new business for our local small businesses. And so one thing that I want to focus on going forward is how we affect you all the way down to your district level. Coming from the legislature, I wanted to know how things we were doing at the state level affected my district in West Alabama. And I think we need to do a better job of communicating that going forward and engaging you more often than not in what we're seeing, the challenges that are there, but also the opportunities. And with that being said, I'm going to step out of the way and hand it over to Donnie for a few.
Absolutely. One of the things we do want to do is share with you the impact. Where is my money going? What actually are the outcomes? And what is our investment that we're asking you guys to partner with us on? What is that bringing to the table? Part of our contract before was heavily weighted towards economic development. Now with this ask, it really focuses more on workforce development.
Donnie and Kyle, I'm sorry, I've got a question just to get me oriented.
Mm-hmm.
The West Alabama Works, is that an entire subset
It
of
is.
Chamber of Commerce?
So we have
entirely in-house?
yes,
Okay.
we have
Go
a
ahead, I
separate.
didn't mean to
Yes, sir. No,
stop.
that's okay. A lot of people ask that. We're one of the only chambers in the entire nation that is set up the way that we are. So when you go into our building, you're actually looking at the Regional Chamber of Commerce. You're also looking at one of 7 regional codified workforce councils representing about 7,500 square miles. And you're also looking at the Regional Workforce Board, which allocates close to $4 million in resources.
Okay, thank you.
So this is our board on the workforce side. As you can see, it is the largest employers in our region. Here are some of the outcomes. When we talk about outcomes, we're talking about real individuals. We're working with about 27,000 job seekers. You can see the text conversations that we've had with job seekers. We've had over 2,200 new job seekers in our market, and you can see the number of jobs. And right now, the postings that we have on our system is close to 500 jobs. One job on that posting could represent over 2,000 positions. So we're out in the highways and byways every single day, 44 outreach events in the last year, representing over 9,000 people being engaged in that market. Also, here's something that's very important. We're involved in every aspect of the community when it comes to impact, and one of those is our education system. Just our educators, our top-down approach to educating those leaders, not teachers, not counselors, but principals, superintendents, and key leaders. We have trained and implemented this program, which is a one-year program for over 300 key leaders in education. We work with over 12 school systems in our region alone, but here's a big number, and we're putting most of your data in green where you can see it. Over 105 key leaders in your school system, in the Tuscaloosa City school system, has graduated from this one-year program in workforce development. The other things is how many students are actually being engaged. Last year alone, we impacted over 15,000 students in our region in the Tuscaloosa City school system just for this one program, the virtual World of Works gaming system that we've developed. Over 720 students have been impacted. At WOW, you can see over 893 of our 9th graders here in the Tuscaloosa City, and it breaks down each school system for your districts to see how many were engaged, but over 4,000 students were engaged regionally. Those are our workforce. We'd love to have you guys out at the October 5th and 6th event. This is Worlds of Work, which is what we call Disney World on steroids for workforce development. It is one of the biggest events in workforce development for our schools. We have people that fly in from all over the country to benchmark this. Matter of fact, Mayor, by the time we got back from Raleigh, we already had an ask from Raleigh to actually come here and benchmark our workforce model. They're coming in October to this event. So here's another stat for you. Over 3,984 students have been engaged in our virtual reality headset system where we go into all of our students. Those are your numbers of 378 students in the Tuscaloosa City school system. Here's a real stat for you to look at from the investment standpoint of $200,000. This is one event that we do in just the city. You can see right there, 90 students If you take those 90 students that got job offers, here's the total. Out of the 229 were at the event, there were 610 job offers. If you took those 229 students, that's over a $7 million impact that we had from one event, just one payroll. From the city's perspective, if we take out the regional kids and just look at the city of Tuscaloosa, 90 students were offered jobs at that event. If you average 2,040 hours at $15 an hour, by the way, the majority of those jobs were over $18 an hour. That's a $2.7 million impact from the investment that you've given us just on one event. You take a look at the next event, which is our signing day event. That was almost $1 million impact on payroll for our students in our city school systems. Here's another thing that's very important. Alabama has one of the worst unemployment rates when it comes to students in the nation. So one of the things that we partnered with the Tuscaloosa County system, which is actually a commission that's investing in this, and this is going to be part of what you guys are investing in, is our Student Ignite program, putting our students to work. Right now we have about 334 high school students in the city school system that we're putting and placing in jobs every single day. That impact for Ignite for the city of Tuscaloosa is over $1 million in revenue, or excuse me, payroll. Also, our modern manufacturing program that we are working with our school systems. Tuscaloosa City School System has over 75 students in that program right now. That is a national model. A matter of fact, the state has contracted with West Alabama Works to actually implement that in every school system in the state. So we're going to fly through this and talk about how we're impacting students. This is a partnership with our school foundation to meet the needs of our students in our schools and meet their individual needs. And that is happening every single day. Here's some other things. It's one of the things that we talked about with some of the partners that's been in the room today, is our incarcerated and those who have a felony. So in the city limits right now, we're working with over 200, and I think that says 34 residents of the city of Tuscaloosa that has a past judicial issue. Most of those are felonies. So you can see the outcomes there of the individuals that we're putting to work every single day that are justice impacted. That is a key issue when we're talking about public safety, when we're talking about all the key issues that we have. Workforce development has a fabric, or they're woven into almost every issue that we have that we're addressing, even within the nonprofits that have been here today. Here's the other part of the second chance that we do at the DA's office. You can see the numbers there. That is another model that we're actually launched this year, and we have over 368 of those individuals that would have a felony that was going to be put into prison that we actually have diverted, and there's over 200 participants right now that are active in that system. Here's just a quick bit of what is our return on investment. In the last 5 years, we have brought over $5,800,000 of new dollars into West Alabama when it comes to training and impacting. Here's one of the last numbers I want to share with you, is we have brought in, and we're actually oversee and administrate over $28 million that have gone directly into putting our individuals into work in West Alabama. That's on-the-job training, that's our stabilization grants that we have. EITP grants go directly into our employers, and so when you total all of that up, it's about $28 million in the last 5 years that we administer and actually place into the fabric of our community.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Donnie, Kyle, a question, and thank you for the presentation. I'll open it up in just a second. I'm trying to keep it at around 15 minutes, but y'all are on the border of being one of the big five as we transition you back to from a contract to agency funding. But Donnie, when you talk about Alabama being amongst the worst in the nation in student unemployment, did I hear that right?
Yes, sir.
So, and I'm going to overgeneralize, all right, and if it is erroneous, you can correct it in the answer. Typically, when we think about a Chamber of Commerce mission set, it is bring in new employers, generate business demand so we can create more jobs. Again, if I could overgeneralize, what I hear from the business owners that I talk to is is a difficulty getting labor. How can we simultaneously have the worst among the worst unemployment rates for students in the nation and a shortage of workers?
Yes, sir. I can, that's a long.
Knock yourself out. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I realize. So
Explanation.
give us the nickel
Yeah, let me
version,
give you a
please.
quick one is, our school systems are not set up right now to actually support that type of work. When you look at just
What type of
student work. Now, when we talk about student employment, we're talking about 16 to 19-year-olds. Those are in high school. Now, when we're talking about unemployment rates, we have one of the best unemployment rates in the nation. Tuscaloosa is about 1.8% unemployment. The point of the unemployment rate for students is that we have the worst. This year, and I will give credit to Dr. Daria, is this year we're implementing back co-op into our school systems.
That's awesome.
So what is going to happen is Ignite and our co-op teachers are now working simultaneously together to actually make sure that students have those opportunities.
Co-op being what I remember from my day when you
Working
went to
half a
school
day,
part of the
yes.
day
That's real
and
good.
worked in.
Absolutely. So right now,
Yeah.
yes. Right now, we are actually, we have students that are 16-year-olds that are leaving Brookwood High School, going and building $100,000 cars after school every day. And so it is about youth apprenticeships. It's about getting more of our students. One of the best ways, and the governor just came out today, about an hour ago, Kyle sent it to me, about we've got to change our focus to the non-participation rate, those who are not in the workforce.
That's right.
One of the best ways to get people, and this is bad terminology, but I'll use it as an example, to get people off the couch of workforce development is that they never get on the couch in the first place. And the way to do that is get our students in our schools, in jobs, get them working, because work is no longer a dirty word. We have got to start using the value of work, the value of being a part of the community. All of that has got to be a part of our education system. And part of that, of having a strong education system, is the value in being prepared for career pathways, for jobs. But we need to have those jobs available for our students. And that's what our team, we have a full-time person that works every single day to put our high school students to work in this region.
That's awesome.
Thank you, and I appreciate the brevity of the answer as well as the thoroughness of it. Go ahead.
Question, Mr. Chairman. Donnie, is, good presentation by the way, you and Kyle, but is the thought process that if this money is allocated from the city in this way, all of that money is gonna go into these programs of workforce development? Is that kind of where y'all see this funding? Because I know,
Yes.
because I mean, that's, so, I mean, address that. I mean, y'all address that. I mean, that's kind of what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
that's
mean,
kind of how this is morphing into more of
That's
that.
what we see is a kind of in time morphing more to the workforce side of things, away from traditional retail or economic development into that. We will still be engaged in the community development piece of things, and through several of those programs that we highlighted early in the presentation. That's not going away, but we are going to shift the focus over to the workforce side of things.
Do you see that money going into Ignite, money going into, I mean, just as the city being, I guess, a sponsor or part of that because of this contract, right? Even Worlds of Work, right?
Absolutely.
Potentially.
And that's one of the things that we want to do is work closer with the city. One of the things that came out of our Raleigh trip was, the need for more and more collaboration. There's some great things going, moving forward and things that are happening. But here's an example, Ignite. Right now, the funding for that comes through the county commission. They have partnered with us on that. This is a prime example, and Judge Robertson is really part of that.
175.
Yes. And so when you look at the county is doing 175, we're asking, and that's really for Brookwood and for Ignite and for the Building Hope, Alabama site. And so what we want to do is we want to make that a partnership between the county and the city, and the Chamber and West Alabama Works. TCEDA is very involved, and you know this. We can't recruit unless we have the workforce.
Absolutely.
And so one of the things, and I hope everybody knows, there's a real collaboration between West Alabama Works, the Chamber, and TCEDA as we're recruiting new companies, we have got to make sure we have a new model of workforce development. And that is the biggest selling point now.
You know, Donnie, to your point, I think that there is a perception sometimes that may be worse than it needs to be about being able to fill some of these jobs, because I think we have the process that West Alabama's has been able to do with the chamber. You've got a good start of what you need to have to fill these jobs. I mean, but everybody's having that problem. I mean,
Well, we want to come and do a work session with you guys and really show you some of the things that we're doing. Modern manufacturing is transforming the way we do education and workforce. One of the things that we're having to transition to in workforce development is not job placement, job, fairs and things of that nature. We are really teaching companies how to grow your own. That's why we're embedding programs like Modern Manufacturing, where these companies are hiring the students before they ever graduate. For example, in that program alone, statewide, we've launched it 2 years with our statewide program. We have over 1,000 students in it. Here's what comes out of that. The students that graduate in that program graduate high school with 7 stackable credentials, an AS degree in modern manufacturing from the community college system, an apprenticeship, and a full-time job before they ever walk across the stage on their high school graduation. That is exactly what we're doing.
And I think the best way to summarize it is a small investment that you can make keeps these students and young people out of the other services that the city has to provide.
Absolutely.
And if we can redirect them into a sustainable job and making a good income, then it helps lift all ships.
and hopefully it keeps them here.
Right. Well, and that's another focus.
As a taxpaying
Yeah.
citizen of this.
But Kyle, I
of this
think I saw
area.
you speak to Donnie Lee,
Yes, sir.
and I appreciate you, because I think y'all could help each other.
Absolutely.
Probably y'all help him more,
Yep.
but
Yes,
I
sir.
know there's a lot of those kids.
No doubt. I set up a meeting this morning while he was here.
I appreciate it.
Gentlemen, thank you
Yes, sir.
very much. Good presentation. London, we do have financials as they shift from contract to agency funding, right?
We do.
Okay.
Thank y'all
very-
again, and
Thank you,
I
guys.
appreciate you.
Yep. Appreciate your time
Anything-
today.
Well, and what I was gonna add, I think the earlier that our children are able to co-op and to get involved in these opportunities will be the trajectory to not only keep them here, but to give them the skills that's needed to become productive. I was talking, when I was on the school board, some students was asking me who were in plumbing. They was like, why do we have to go to school and to do all of this other stuff when we really want to focus? I mean, they were really blunt, right? They was like, why can't we just really just focus on this right here? So I think this is a move in the right direction. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
for what
Thank you, guys.
Agreed.
Appreciate your time.
Very, very much. So I think we have a late arrival.
Gene.
Alabama Food Bank.
Please come
And
up.
I am so sorry. I'm
It's
gonna
okay.
just give you all these cash out. Sometimes we have emergencies that happen at the food bank, and summertime is when we're short staffed because we're really busy when school starts. And I was the only one there to be able to deal with it this morning, and I greatly apologize. Not only did we have one, we had two. And one of them was a mother who spent money on school supplies and school clothing and now has no food at her house. And to kind of talk her off the ledge and the tears, sometimes I need to be there and deal with that and not just pass it off to a staff member.
Okay.
So I apologize for that. We want to thank you for you guys contributing last year to our agency and the food bank. Our agency covers 9 counties, which has many cities in it. But Tuscaloosa is our biggest city. And Tuscaloosa, because of where we are located, which is now in the heart of Tuscaloosa, we see the most citizens come into us because, to find food, we have other locations in Fayette, other locations in Sumter that we can farm people out to if they're in desperate need of food. I kind of just gave you our last year just to kind of show you where things are going. We have 92 agencies at the end of last year. Agencies come and go. We hold a very strict watch over agencies to make sure they're not doing things in the wrong way, that the food that they are getting from us is actually going to who they say it is, what they say they're doing it. So if we get,
So when you say agency, I see
so
here
agencies,
partner agencies.
our
So
partner
these are
agencies,
subordinate distribution.
centers. This is
Vehicles?
the Soup Kitchen, Salvation Army, Phoenix House,
Okay.
the Humane Society. I mean, it's all the different nonprofit, Tuscaloosa One Place, all the places where agencies get food. It's coming from us.
Wow.
We just don't take the name brand and say, hey, this is our food.
So when Turning Point briefs us that they have 180 persons over the year and they feed them 3 meals a day, and that works out to 900, 660, those meals are
Turning
through
Point
them?
does not get their meals. They're not an,
Oh,
they're
okay.
not an accepted agent, or they're not an agency of ours at this moment. Phoenix House, that yes, they get their
Okay.
food from us.
And that, there was nothing special
Hearing
about Turning
days.
Point.
I didn't know.
I just used it because it was
No.
was a bread. Please go ahead.
Hearing Days, all those agencies get their food from us.
Wow,
Um,
that's huge.
So, you know, we bring in about 10 million pounds of food a year that we get to then redistribute. Our new building has allowed many great things. We have been able to, because we now have one of the biggest cooler and freezers in Tuscaloosa, we have the biggest cooler and freezer. If you're ever really hot, come visit our cooler and freezer. We can cool you down in a jiffy. But we were able to take 3 truckloads of chicken this year, which we would have had to turn down because of that. We have a participation, it's called the LFPA program. It's a local farm to produce program. We're working with farmers across Alabama who are bringing their food to us. They're getting paid through the state, and then we're able to distribute that food out. Just yesterday, we were giving out beautiful squash and tomatoes to folks who are in need of hunger, or who are hungry. Last year, we did 178 mobile pantries. Our mobile pantries are where we take food into a food desert or a food need area and distribute food to 150 families. They get about 70 pounds of food. This is fresh food, frozen food, shelf-stable food that they're able to add to their pantry and make meals happen. One of the pantries we started this year that we're really proud, well, 2 actually, we started holding mobile pantries with Shelton State for their citizens, because our big push this year is to work with community colleges and HBCU colleges. And then our second one is DCH. So not only are we helping some of the employees of DCH if they fall below the poverty level, but also the nurses and the when they're releasing somebody, if they feel that they're like in a food compromised area, they're able to invite them to this food pantry to get them back on their feet, whether they've been out of work, their family's been out of work. So that's another thing where we're adding to putting this additional food into the city. The retail value of food for just the mobile pantry that we've put in is over $4 million. If people had to go buy that food that we have distributed with through those 178, would have been over $4 million. Our secret meal backpack program, 7 counties we operate this in. Last year in the city school, we had 482 children.
Amen.
I did not know y'all did the secret meals.
So we are, Alabama Credit Union helps fund it, as do, we have multiple other funders throughout the county. But we provide the weekend meals for these children. These children will not eat. And I can go off on a whole tangent on this program because I was a teacher here in the city, or in the county. But I knew exactly which children I had when they left me on Friday. We're not going to eat again until Monday.
That's right.
And there is no fault of these children when they are not meeting academic milestones when we're letting that happen. So this is totally, teachers decide. I make it a very clear program. The teachers decide, not the counselor, not the principal. They decide who in their room is hungry, and then we just add them, no questions asked. And our numbers can fluctuate from 1,700 to 2,500 in any week. Children come and go, they move on the program, and there's no questions asked. So school calls and ups their numbers, we just up the numbers. We have all volunteer help to pack those foods, and all food is purchased. So it's a very expensive program.
Did
for
you say
us.
all food is purchased?
Mhm. We
Y'all
so
are
that's-
not the recipient of food donations from
We are.
restaurants? Then you lost me there.
So the food bank, we get food a couple of different ways. One, donations. Beat Auburn, Beat Hunger, Stamp Out Hunger, individual donations. Donations by Pico, donations by grocery stores. We recover food from grocery stores every day. That's still edible, but it's meeting its
Right.
time. Or they change a label. We participate in 5 federal programs that we distribute food. We have the senior program, we have the after-school program, we have the summer feeding program, not in Tuscaloosa, because your city is awesome and handles that for us. But in the other counties, they don't. We have the senior program, and then we have the TANF and TFAP, which are temporary emergency food for needy families, and the TFAP program is generally anybody who is
No,
low
but the
income
only
and
place,
qualifies.
when you say all food is purchased, that seems at odds with what you're describing.
Because our backpack program, we are very specific about what food we put in those children's backpacks. The food.
All right, so for the backpack program,
We
all
purchase
food.
food.
Why is that?
Why is that? Because I'm making sure the calorie content is there, that they're, somebody's not gonna donate shelf-stable milk. I mean, that's hard. But our backpack program, it's gonna have 2 milks, 2 100% juices, 2 cereals, entrees, breakfast, snacks, fruit, and fruit juice. We have very specific requirements to meet the dietary needs of these children. And so instead of worrying about whether I'm gonna get it donated, we go out and purchase it. I purchase a truckload of food about every 5 weeks, and it ends about $40,000 a week, $40,000 a truckload or more. Not everything we get is donated. I mean, if I had to wait for somebody to donate 150 bags of rice to do in a mobile pantry, I might not ever have that mobile pantry. So we purchase food to supplement what we get donated and what comes through different programs.
Oh, wow.
So we purchase over $1 million of food a year just to maintain separate programs. We have summer feeding. Like I said, I'm going to skip that because it's not in Tuscaloosa. Our CFSP program is we have 1,800 seniors that we provide a box of food every month. This food is shelf stable. It is not to be their whole diet, but it is to get them through. What people don't realize is a lot of seniors are getting between $9 and $13 a month in food stamps. That's a loaf of bread and a pound of lunch meat in today's world. Food stamps got cut because in May, all the food stamps, the extra dollars for COVID and everything got taken away, or they went back to pre-COVID times. So these seniors are now relying on this more and more. I have a waiting list. To get on this program, you have to die. Somebody has to die for you to get on that program. This is a federal program. We've asked for more numbers. We've asked for 200. It's not a problem of how many we have to do or how many I can do. Right now it's the money, the federal money, that they're the ones who send us the food to pass on. So, I mean, close to 1 million pounds was delivered just to seniors who are 60 and older and food compromised.
In my district, as I was just, we share districts in District 1 and District 2. I was just conferring with Councilor Howard. In our district, percentage-wise, you have a 30 to 35, 40% poverty rate. And yet you have, I know in District 1, you have a higher percentage of seniors, as you are just talking about. So for those who may not know how to get connected, what do they need to do, or where do those mobile food pantries, where are they at?
So we advertise them. They're always on our Facebook. We advertise them.
On Facebook, you said?
We ask that people pre-qualify. We ask that people pre-qualify because, believe it or not, we will have food for 150 people. It'll start at 9 o'clock, 9:30, and at 6 o'clock in the morning, people are lining up.
Oh, yeah.
It breaks our heart when we get to the end and people are, there's still 40, 50, 60 cars and we run out of food. Tuscaloosa, it's not that bad because we can run back and send a second truck if we need to. And a lot of times we do that in Tuscaloosa, but if I'm 2.5 hours away in Sumter County, I can't do that. So that's why we ask people to pre-qualify. We have what we're working on right now as part of Feeding America is an equitable distribution. So we're actually looking at pockets of poverty levels in all of our 9 counties, and where do we need to find agencies to help.
Yeah.
Right now, we are not adding agencies if they're within a mile, if they're a distribution center, if they're within a mile or 2 miles of another center. You know, we're looking to try, you know, right now, we're looking for somebody in Samantha, because that's one of our areas that isn't covered, and that's a county thing. But we're trying to make sure that everybody gets, you know, takes care of this. The other thing, you know, I was very thankful. I didn't really have to worry about it except for Foster's this year. But we're also the food supplier. We're the emergency food supplier for the state of Alabama in my 9 counties. So when Foster's got hit, we're the ones who immediately get hit with, where's the food? How are you going to do this? Get these people back together. I mean, the governor calls, EMA calls, my phone blows up. You know, and this is a 24/7 job. You don't get to take time out. And so, you know, if Tuscaloosa ever gets hit, we're the designated spot for all the food. All the food will come to us and all the food will get distributed. You know, Tuscaloosa plays a pretty powerful position in us being able to hold the food. You know, we had 9 tornadoes that we dealt with last year and 3 other incidents that we had to deal with. Unfortunately, or fortunately for Tuscaloosa, unfortunately for Hale County, many of them were in Hale County. Hale County got just murdered this year with storms. But that's what we deal with. We had 370 people, like this morning, walk in for help. Usually when people come to us for help, they have nowhere else to go. They've burned every bridge. You know, some of the other programs that I wanted to share, we're working with felons. Most of these, we work with the parole officers, where these felons who have community service are able to come to our location. We geomap them in. They're able to do community service. Felons? Parolees?
No, you said we.
Geomap them?
Geomap?
Map them. If they have ankle bracelets, we geomap them in so that they're not breaking, you know, they're able to do their hours. You know, we're the only ones right now who are doing that. Everything that we have that's packed, for the mobile pantries to the secret meals, to the agency meals, to the TANF boxes, to the holiday boxes we provide, that's all done with volunteer help. We have we are one of the food banks that we don't have to worry about help. We have the parolees. We have community service. You know, I can always tell, we always get ready for the phone to ring after a football game, because all those kids who got community service are coming right to us. You know, I mean, it's great for us, but I mean, that's where they're getting their community service. We have athletes. This summer we've hosted, I can't tell you how many university teams who come out there and they do it as a community service. We're going to have the first-year law students. We do as an activity where they all get to know each other. But while they're getting to know each other, they're packing our senior boxes. They're doing good work. We have churches. We have social groups. We are very lucky that we have the great support in Tuscaloosa City and County to help us pack these meals. The last thing I want to bring to your attention, last year we did just shy of 5 million pounds, and a lot of that was because we were moving and we weren't bringing as much food in to move. It took us 30 tractor trailer trucks to move. So, but if you would take that 4 million pounds, our input into the city of Tuscaloosa was over $9 million. Had people bought that food in the retail store, it would have been $9 million. So we have added a $9 million impact into the 9 counties that we serve. And so we hope you'll fund us. We think that.
What's the ask, Gene?
$50,000.
50 from the city.
From the city. You know, and that's to support the backpack meals, the after-school programs, the pantries that we're trying to set up in all the schools so the kids have access. You know, I'm lucky. I get a lot of funding streams and I deal with a lot of counties. I'm not gonna ask Tuscaloosa to support everything else. I'm just asking Tuscaloosa to do its share for the people that we see here, for the walk-in help, for the emergency help we need.
Thank you. And you all briefed us last year, I believe, on a $10 million capital campaign. Can you update us on how that went?
Well, construction delays. Maybe I want to pull my hair out. But we've not raised 10 million. We're about 3.8. So we're hoping to go up. We have some other asks out there that haven't made decisions yet. Because this is an ongoing 5-year, but some of those asks we knew were coming in later funding cycles. We have a large ask out to Senator Sewell to help fund this. She's very interested in the activity we're doing because we take the majority of the black belt in our area. We have most of the high poverty levels are in my area. And so for our food bank to be able to serve that and to serve it the way we do, it's getting recognition. Our food bank, our new food bank, which we haven't had our grand opening yet because we're waiting for construction, but when we have that, I really want all of you to come see, because what we're building there, other places are coming to see it. Other food banks are coming to see what we're doing. We're going to have a food pharmacy where DCH can automatically send somebody right there to get food if they need it to go within their health things. We have this beautiful demonstration kitchen where we're actually going to be able to work with the World of Works and Tuscaloosa One Place and different organizations and teach kids and seniors how to cook instead of driving through McDonald's and that kind of stuff. We're going to teach them, Tuscaloosa One Place runs a summer program for juveniles who've gotten in trouble. Those kids don't know how to cook. We don't have home ec in the school anymore. Those kids are going to come there and they're going to learn how to measure and make food, how to prep food, how to make a casserole to serve later, how to use a crock pot so they can have a warm dinner when they get home from working. We're going to teach those skills as part of what we're doing, because I can give you food, but if you can't cook it and use it nutritiously, it's a waste. And so we have one of the first teaching kitchens in the state of Alabama. And so we're really proud of that.
Thank you.
I just have
Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I have a comment, especially for first of all, I love the new facility, and I'm so happy that you have the ability to be able to keep meats there, with
Right.
the freezer. Yeah, but I did want to say, since the secret meals is something that you have to fund, and you look, I've worked with that with my students, and I don't think any of us have had to worry about when we're going to eat our next meal. But that is so important for our students, and it's so important that they can purchase those products to be shelf ready, because the students are aware. Like, teachers definitely, they know who their students are that need the food, and it's no hesitation, it's no paperwork. We don't need the parents to sign anything. If the students say they need it, they get it. But if there's a weather day or school has to close early, anything unexpected, those students will come to me and they will say, "Can I get my food? Can I get my bag?" And it's they know, and it's and these bags come with, like she said, chocolate milk or milk and juice. It's instant macaroni and cheese snacks, and everyone in that household gets it. And then any student that says they need it, we don't ask any questions. If the parents say, hey, they don't really need that, they'll send it back or send a note so we don't make that mistake again. But most of the time, students know. And it's it's a good thing, but then it's also a sad, it kind of makes you just think a little bit extra hard when a student, be more compassionate when a student knows that they need that for the weekend. For the holidays, students will say, can I have 2? When they're going to be out for a week. So being able to purchase those, the secret meals, and we be discreet when we have to. We put them in backpacks and don't say anything, but most of the time students are like, hey, I gotta go back. They'll hold up a bus so students can go back and get those meals. It's that serious,
It's
huge.
It is.
It's a very big deal.
And like I said, we're just, as a teacher, I knew, and it broke my heart every Friday, and I'm not gonna let that happen to any child in my area. I don't see a need to it, and if we're going to expect these children to become citizens of Tuscaloosa and be responsible citizens who are doing the right thing, who are going to get jobs, who are going to improve our city, we've got to feed them so that they're ready to learn.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Personally. Thank you.
Thanks. I love my job, and please, anybody, anytime you want to come see it, see how we work, I invite you all.
Thank you.
All right, that brings to a close today's work session. I would thank all the presenters, but they're not
They're
here.
not here.
So
Well,
if you're
the
watching,
chamber
on-
left somebody just in case.
But again, today I consider the fun part. This is getting to hear about all the good things going on in Tuscaloosa. The hard part comes in divvying up the pie. Thank you very much. We are